This is my personal favorite build for the Waystalker. It mostly focuses on making Corellian's Q do everything for you. So for your first talent, you can do whatever you prefer. I prefer the critical strikes and headshots give temporary health, since you always want to be headshotting anyway. But Ariel's boon is a really good one to go with if you want to help out your team with healing. And this also, like on the higher difficulties, you don't get as much healing, so you can use that to be more efficient with your healing. And like if your entire team is wounded, you can just heal yourself, and then everyone else is no longer wounded and have 20% of their health. So that's really nice, especially stacked with other effects. But we don't have to worry about that too much. Just go with whichever one you prefer. For level 10, we do Bloodshot, because this actually buffs your Q tremendously. Because even though it says one additional arrow, it feels like it's one additional arrow per arrow you already have. So like if you're shooting 4, it shoots 8. I don't know if that's true, but that seems to be how it works. And then for level 15 we do enhanced power just because the power goes to everything, whereas these ones only go to melee and staggering, which you kind of, since this build is already on the Qs, you just want to buff the Qs as much as possible. This one, instead of your passive healing you, this makes it so that you get your, oh, I've been calling it Q, your ultimate, your true shot volley. So this makes your true shot volley restore faster. And since that's what this build is focused on, we don't want the regen. We want the extra cooldown. And this one reduces the cooldown for the true shot volley. And this one fires an additional arrow. So it's normally 4, or is it 3? I think it's normally 3. This one will make it 4. And then combined with that, it'll make it 8. So, pretty brutal. Alright, so just showing it off. So you normally, yeah, it's normally 3, but it turns it into 4 shots. But if you get a melee kill, it'll turn to 5, but I can't show that here. I'll have footage in the background showing it off. Alright, then for your equipment. So you can pretty much go with whatever melee you want. They all have their benefits and drawbacks. I personally prefer the spear or the glaive. They both have their own benefits and drawbacks. With the glaive you can do a lot of area attacks, so it's good for swarms. But then the issue is the power attack. The first swing on it doesn't do any damage, you have to do the second one. So that can really mess with timing attacks on it. But you can see the second one does a lot of damage, and it will do that same amount of damage to armored people. So if you hit the head, 75. That's pretty good. And then with the spear, it's consistent damage. You can even do light attacks on armored. It doesn't do as much. Then you can do the power attack, which will do a decent amount. But if there's a Stormwind mixed in the horde, you can just keep light attacking and it'll stun them and then do some damage to them. But for the most part, if you see anything armored, you just press Q and then everything dies. If you do want to use the spear and you're trying to fight a horde, if you do the push attack on this, it has this nice horizontal sweep which will hit everything in front of you, which is very nice. And one thing to keep in mind while you're doing this is if you're just looking in one spot, like right here, I'm only hitting 2 of the dummies, if that. But as you're swinging, you can move the camera so you can hit multiple. So if they're all around you, you can just swing like that and you'll hit all of them and knock them all back. You can even do that with this one, which is really good for that. Alright, and then next let's talk about the bow. For the Waystalker, you either want the Moonfire bow or the longbow. With the Moonfire bow, you have to be really careful because it does a lot of teammate damage. So when you're shooting it, it has this gas cloud, which will hit your teammates. And it expands in size if you aim down with it. So if you just left click, it'll hit that one person with it. But if you aim, it'll have this big AoE area. So it'll hit everyone in that area, including your teammates. And it'll end up on Legend doing around 10 damage. So you want to be very careful about that. But another thing that makes it really nice is if you get your melee kill, you can then shoot your arrow, it'll shoot 2 arrows. So it'll do that damage over time twice. So that'll kill Chaos Warriors, that'll kill almost anything in the game if you do the double shot like that. Alright. And then we can just move on to Necklace and Charms. For the most part, I keep these the same on every character. I always go Stamina and Health on the Necklace. I go Power vs Chaos and Attack Speed on the Charm. And then Crit Chance and Curse Resistance. However, you can go with Movement Speed. I've been trying out Curse Resistance, but in the footage I used Movement Speed, so we're gonna see which one I prefer later. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the guide, honestly. I'll probably keep some of the background footage going just to show off everything. So yeah, thanks for watching.